Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Brett Stalcup. Welcome to Choices Podcast. You can find us at choicespodcastofficial.com. You can find us on Facebook at Choices Podcast group. We're easy to find. We're going to be on Instagram starting next week, which is really exciting. We finally have met our numbers where people are inviting us to their sites, which is nice. We're growing. Today I'm in Virginia Beach. I'm at my happy place on the screen porch of Yaya and Papu's house, where it's just really, really inviting to reset. So I want to take this opportunity to really have an intimate time with all of our listeners and viewers about how to rebuild your life. And I'm going to share about how I rebuilt my life, what was going on at the time, how it changed, and how I made a change, how it was proactive and not reactive. Uh, so we always like to start our podcast with lyrics. And Carcass John is on a ship on his honeymoon, and the Reverend's reverending somewhere. And so I get to do the lyrics. So I picked out Remember the Tin Man by Tracy Chapman. There are locks on the doors and chairs, chains stretched across the entries to the inside. There's a gate and a fence and boys to protect from only God knows what lures. Who stole your heart, left you out of space that no one and nothing can fill? Who stole your heart, left you with space that no one and nothing can fill? Who stole your heart? Who took it away? That song has a lot to do with a lot of people. I'm going to include it on me. I quit drinking 35 years ago, and it was a choice that I made that I wanted to be the best in my business, and for me to be the best, I had to remove alcohol. I went out drinking with a dear client friend of mine, and I blacked out. It scared the living heck out of me. And so I decided that if I really wanted to be the best, that I had to remove alcohol. It was a positive choice for me. And so I had to make a plan. So I'm going to give you advice, but I'm going to give you advice today through me and how I did it. It's going to be broken down in 6 different parts. Number 1, I'm going to reflect on on my past. I'm going to set goals. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to embrace the change one day at a time. I'm going to be open to new stuff, and we're going to be consistent. I'm going to talk about those 6 categories and how I did it in my life. But first, I want to go back 35 years again where I was. I was in a bad place in my life. I was in a bad marriage. I married for all the wrong reasons, and I was in a bad law firm that I started. I had a lot of lawyers, and it wasn't working for me. And then I had some bad people in my life that worked for me, including CPAs. But I was flat on my back, and I decided that I'd had enough, and I filed for divorce, left the law firm, and jumped into all the issues I had going on all at once. It was really fun because I made it fun. I wore khaki shorts to work and a Hawaiian shirt, and I told all the divorce lawyers I'd quit working, that there was no more in the pot. And I went through a really cool program. Um, I started one called Discovery, which is still ongoing, and they're doing a good job. But I went through Phil's Pathways at the time, and it was a great experience for me. Uh, it was, you have to look at your past. In order to move forward, you got to look at your past. And when I looked at my past, I was very, very angry at my father. Uh, and, you know, it's very normal. People get angry, but I was angry at him for a lot of things that I don't even desire to talk about. Uh, Abuse, uh, physical, mental, on my brother, things that happened. I was very angry at him, and it really shut my heart down. Uh, and so I had to look at that. In order for me to be sober, in order for me to be free, I had to look at the anger I had toward him, and I had to forgive him. Uh, I forgave him, and he didn't understand that. I even went to him. I was telling Sanka the other day, and said, "Hey, I forgive you for this." He goes, "You ain't forgive me for nothing." I mean, he didn't understand it. And then once I decided, you know what, I'm at a point here where I got to break the chain of the abuse and everything that happened in my life. It was free for me to write my own book. It was first chapter I wrote is on my journal was this is a very important time period in my life, and I'm going to write about it so I don't lose it. And that's what I did. And I went pathways, and I joined. I got found a great counselor. God, she was awesome, Betty Lindsay, and we had a men's group that was four of us, uh, five including me, and we met once a week. And but I went to therapy twice a week, and I did that for 7 years. I just recreated who I wanted to be. I I got through with the anger, and I went through feeling it because I didn't want to waste it. And then I went through the guilt that I had for the way I treated myself and other people. Then I went through fear and became a Christian again and found Jesus. And because whenever you have fear of looking forward, usually it deals with your faith. So I redid everything I could. So I got rid of the guilt, got rid of the anger, got rid of the fear, and I declared that I was a kind and loving man for the rest of my life. And so I put a plan together to show or to live that I can be a kind, loving man. It's not easy sometimes, and I have to pull myself back, but it's cool. It's very freeing once you figure it out for yourself. Once you conquer the demons and conquer the anger and conquer the guilt, it's just free. You find freedom, and then you're the miracle. Uh, it's always fun to think. I go back and think about the times that I had in therapy. I'll never forget. I walked in the first time I walked in the men's group. And this guy was talking about stuff, and I was like, "Oh boy, you're just a wacko." He was a little bit of a wacko, but after that, I got up through him. The rest of us became close friends, and we really enjoyed our journey of looking forward. Because looking at the anger, looking at the guilt, looking at the fears about looking back. Once you get that conquered, you can look forward. Once you look forward, and what you want your life to be, you put a plan together, you goal set, you know. And when you're reflecting on your past, on your anger, guilt, and fear or shame, whatever it is, don't waste it. Feel it. You need to let your heart's like a muscle, and you need to feel it. It's like Tracy Chapman was talking about. My heart was shut down for so long, I was lost. And I always say that about people that get in recovery and they go to treatment, they come back, and I always ask them, what was the pain in your heart about? What was it? What was it that you needed to heal? If they can't tell me, I get furious. And I work with them myself, but they ought to be able to tell me that. And then I set goals. I do SMART goals: specific, measurable, actionable, result oriented, and time bound. And I start with my personal part of my life. What's my objective? Then my objective is always to look good, you know, uh, to get my weight where it needs to be. Now I do 1, 2, 3. What specific tasks do I need to do to conquer that? Then I have my business goals. For me, that's not hard. I work too much. So a lot of times it's about working less and taking vacations. So I have fun goals. Uh, I have family goals. I have my staff helps me stay up with my goal setting. I have like 50 different areas of goals I try to maintain and manage. But set your goals. That'll help you make your plan. I want to be a kind and loving man. What keeps me kind? What keeps me kind? I've learned from journaling. Journaling is an important tool for me. I have learned from journaling that two things really make me angry. Number one, when someone tries to manipulate me. Someone tries, I'm from South Irving, man. If someone's trying to play me, I can get so irritated so quick and angry. The other is uh, if I get frustrated. If I get frustrated with somebody, I can get angry real quick. So once you identify what makes you angry, then it becomes easier to work with. So, like today's slogan, we always end our show with our favorite slogan. Well, today I had to bring it up. We're doing it a little bit different today. It's just me. But today's slogan is you cannot change or heal what you don't acknowledge. This means you have to acknowledge your anger. You've got to acknowledge your fear. You've got to acknowledge your guilt before you can do anything with it. Whatever's holding you back from being you, you have to acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, you start chipping away at it one day at a time. You know, what's working for you? Journaling working for you? Is goal setting working for you? Is therapy working for you? Is having fun working for you? Is getting new friends working for you? People, places, things. You got to change all three. People, places, things. Change them. And just be open to new stuff. Don't get yourself caught in a rut. That's why a lot of the part about alcoholism is most of the people are they don't know why they're drinking. They it's a daily habit for them to get into 5 o'clock is here. It's time for me to open a bottle of wine. Time for me to drink till 9 or 10. Every day. That's what happens because you have to change your dopamine levels in your brain. Dopamine is the part of your brain that is the feel good part of your brain. Like the dopamine levels after you do cocaine raise 1,000 times. Dopamine levels after sex raise 1,000 times. Dopamine levels after drinking alcohol replaces the dopamine levels that you're losing. So you have to learn to put good stuff in your brain, like exercise, therapy, meetings, walking, meditation. Uh, if you put the good stuff back in your brain that gets your dopamine level where it's functionable without drinking alcohol or doing drugs. By the way, I'm 66 years old. I love telling this first time I really even told part of my story. I like telling it to let you know that every day I'm learning how to live my life to be a kind, loving man. I just took up meditation this week and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I have the Calm app, and part of the meditation they taught today was thoughts are like a Greyhound bus going across the desert. And when you're on that bus, it's hard to get your mind relaxed. And the goal is to get you off the bus and on the side of the road looking at the buses go by. And that made perfect sense for me. I wake up in the middle of the night, my thoughts are going, and I can't go back to sleep. So I'm trying to learn how to manage that. So the other part is when you rebuild your life, I was uh, doing it one day at a time. I was really laughing. God had done so many fun things, showed me so many. When you first find Jesus, the the taps on the shoulder or the messages he sends are a lot more beautiful and a lot quicker than when you're a disciplined Christian. Uh, but I was just laughing. I mean, it was like I was hiding at my folks' house in a little bitty bedroom that I grew up in, and I was enjoying every day because I'd gotten away from my folks, and I was just taking it one day at a time, and I was like saying no so many times per day. I started a new law firm. I was having a ball. Some great people were around me. Paula has now worked for me 26 years. She came into my life. She was awesome. She is awesome. And she holds me accountable the way I live and the way I treat my people. Donette Brady came in and she helped. And I never forget, she came in the office and I was in my shorts, my Hawaiian shirt, and I had some curtains to hang. She goes, "Where did these go?" I said, "I don't know. I just have them." So she hung the curtains and we started one step at a time doing things to rebuild my life. And I had a whole good group of people around me too. It was amazing. Uh, I didn't realize what kind of cave, just like Tracy Chapman's lyrics are talking about, the chains, the emptiness. I didn't really know how empty I was or the chains I was living with. My therapist looked at me in the eyes and said, "You're going to be 2 years, dead in 2 years if you don't do something about the depression and how you're living your life in a bad marriage." I said, "You know what? You're right. I'll be right back." At that moment, it was a defining moment for me that I decided I was going to do something about the way I was living my life, and came back the next week. I'd done something about it, and I enjoyed. I got back with my friends. I never forget. We went to Walmart and bought me some underwear. I had nothing. It was great. I I had my friends were back, and they were all talking about how they were fixing to come get me, and it was really a fun stories that we were telling with each other. But I say that because rebuilding can be, it's hard, but it can be fun, uh, and it can be healing, very much so. But you got to stay consistent with it. I stay consistent with the therapy. I stay consistent with the group. I went to meetings, AA meetings. I did whatever I needed to do to make sure I was taking care of myself, and I was working hard too, and it all came together. And then I always like to tell this because I was like, I'm not going to do my life the same. One, I'm going to break the chain of the way I live under the Stalkup name. I'm going to break the anger chain. I'm going to break the yelling chain, the abuse part of it, and I'm gonna start out with, I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna be loving. I'm gonna be communicative. I'm gonna be an effective listener. I'm gonna be an open-hearted man. Then I went to, okay, for that to happen, for me to get married again, I was like, I wrote down what I wanted in a woman. I wanted a different culture. I wanted uh, a different, I wanted somebody who was faithful. I wanted somebody who was educated and could count. I wanted, I just wrote it all down and I stuck it in a piece of paper and I folded it up and I put it in my drawer. And lo and behold, God put Sank in front of me. Uh, she wasn't from Dallas. Uh, our hairdresser set us up. We went out on a wonderful date. We went to, uh, I called her. It was really funny. I was driving down the toll road. I said, "Hey, my hairdresser gave me your number." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to go out on a date." She goes, "Well, I'm real busy for the next 2 weeks. You can call back after." I said, "Well, how about breakfast at the Crescent in the morning? We'll have some pancakes." And we started going out. We had pancakes, and we were friends for 6, 7 months. and we went to the symphony. We just did really, really fun stuff and talked and had a good time. And that's what, if you name it, you can claim it. Uh, if you write about it, if you journal about it, it's there for you. And God's going to bless you with it. You know, there is goodness. There is people that, this world is really stuck on power and money right now. And we got to get to the root of who we are as kind and loving people and start loving each other, just like we talked about last week. The first thing that comes in my recovery and my living with freedom is gratitude. I got to be grateful what God has already gifted me with and be satisfied with it. And just grateful what he does for me every day and puts in my life. Um, Gratitude's a big word, and it means a lot to me. And I try to share my joy and my kindness with other people. It's not always about giving money. It's about being helpful, and whatever we can do to help somebody get from first base to second base, from second base to third base, and hopefully get them to home. But just keep them at the plate and keep them swinging. That's our job. But my road has been wonderful. Raised, I've raised two wonderful girls that are just blessings. Never given us a problem, never. And I've never touched them, spanked them, talked to them. Is what I do. And if I give them a hairy eyeball, they know what's coming. Anyways, so I hope my story has been helpful in some way to know that if you want to rebuild yourself, you can do it. You got to reflect on the past and you got to make that a tool for you. Then you have to put a plan together on what you want the rest of your life to look like. Then you have to set goals, and hopefully you add journaling in there somewhere. Then you got to embrace the change. You got to go forward. Can't go back to the comfort zone of where you were in the past. Embrace the change and do it one day at a time. You don't have to look at a week away. You don't have to, living one day at a time is about what do you have to do today? Well, today I'm going to go pick up my friend Kevin Fuller. I call him Red because he catches reds uh, all the time in North Carolina. We're going to go fish the next 2 days. And today I'm going to enjoy my daughter. She's here. I'm enjoy my wife. And probably go to the beach, walk on the beach, chill out, and enjoy it. I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I can worry about today. And then always be open to new stuff. My old partner, Fred Louder, always said, the day you quit learning is the day you die. And I firmly believe that. This meditation is a client gave it to me. Chris said, hey, this meditation's really helping me. And I've jumped on he taught me something. I've jumped on the boat with him and I really enjoy it. Settles my mind down. I meditated right before I came on. It's just a wonderful gift. And just remember the slogan, cannot change or heal what you don't acknowledge. So if you got a secret, secrets kill people. If you got a secret that needs to get out, you can contact us at Choices and we'll put you with the right people, or go to your pastor, or whatever you need to do to get it out. If you need help, we'll help you. All you have to do is find us and be Stalcup at stalcuplaw.com. I'll be glad to help anyone get freedom. So that's how you rebuild you. I'm trying to share how I rebuilt myself, and it's been 35 years of nothing but joy. Yeah, there's been a little loss, a little bit of difficulty in there, but you know what? I've got the tools to deal with it, and you've got the tools to deal with it too. So enjoyed it. Remember the Tin Man? You don't have to live like a Tin Man. You can have a heart full of passion, full of feelings, full of emotion, full of strength, full of joy, full of forgiveness, full of, you know, people always laugh or make fun of Joel Osteen. All you got to do is remember that Joel Osteen, he's a great motivator. He's not necessarily a preacher, but he's a motivator. And to give people good once every Sunday, I believe in what he believes. You're going to have rocky roads in there, but if you declare good stuff's going to happen to you, good stuff will happen. But your faith is what will handle the rocky times. When you're in the ditch, your faith will get you out of it. I've always leaned on my faith to get me out of silly things I've got myself into. So I've enjoyed the time with you. I just wanted to grow with you, share my heart with you, let you know that I'm in the boat with you. I'm rowing the same river that you're rowing, and you guys have a great week. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.